Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings. Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. And in today's episode, I'm going to break down what we do to set up our open houses. And to give you a quick idea, we've done a few of these now since we have been in business. And our very first one, as you might expect, was not the most impressive, but what we did was we contacted a lot of the vendors that we saw in the area. So that could be caterers, photographers, DJs, cake makers. Who else am I missing? That's the signs, floral. There's a few others. So we reached out to a bunch of them that had worked with the previous owners at our venue in the past, and they had said, "Oh yeah, we'd be interested in coming out." And then we started marketing for the event for couples to sign up and come out for. And so our first one, I think we had probably 10 vendors, 10 to 15 vendors, and we probably had as many couples come out. So it was really light. It was still fruitful. I think we got a couple of bookings out of it. And the thing to remember with doing an open house is it's a marketing play, but it's not just for you. So it's synergistic with the vendors that are coming out. And we try to make it a very fruitful event for everybody involved. And we also like to give our vendors goodies. We like to give out bags for the couples that come through. And so those are some marketing expenses. And I have broken down before the cost of client acquisition. And so I want to give you an example here of the things that we have purchased to put in the goodie bags. This isn't like this is what you got to do, but it's what we do. And the cost that we incurred to host the event and the amount of bookings we got out of it. And so in that first one, actually, I can't remember offhand, but I think we got 2 bookings out of it, probably 2 or 3 maybe. And of those 2, we at that time we were charging really low, but we probably spent, geez, $700-800 or so on the open house, and we got 2 clients, and so we were around $350 or $400 spent per client acquired, which is actually pretty good. That's a pretty good number. At that time, that was about 10 times, uh, 10 times what we put in, we got out. And then fast forward to our most recent open house, we had probably 18 vendors that showed up. We had 55-ish couples come through. 2/3 of them were already booked with us, and so it was really nice for our vendors who had several on-the-spot bookings. We had another third that hadn't booked with us, and a few that hadn't booked with us that had just shown up. They didn't RSVP. And so they just knew about the event and they just decided to make the drive out to our venue and come see what it's all about. So those types, they weren't really as, what's the word, prepared or ready to make a decision, but that was still worth getting them out. I mean, it says something about that. So at that day we had, like I mentioned, we had DJs. The DJ was getting, I think he had 8 or so on the spot bookings. We had the bridal lady in town. She had a dress on display which got purchased. The bride came through, tried the dress on in our bridal suite, and locked down our bridal suite for 30 or 40 minutes to try it on and purchased it off of the mannequin. And then we got 4 bookings on the spot. And then we had, geez, I think another 3 or 4 that booked later that week. And the impact of that is we probably spent the same as our first time, 700 to $800. However, our client acquisition cost was now $700 or $800 divided by 7 or 8, so $100. We spent $100 per client that we acquired, which is really, really cheap. And not only that, but we spent less per client. So there's that. That's really good. But we also make more because we have since increased our prices by a bit. And so our dollar return on each of those clients, so $100 to acquire, and then I think 6 or 7 thousand now is what we're making on each one, and so that's incredible. Um, so it's a huge difference from our first go around to this latest. So I wanted to break down the things that we do to build the hype, to get the vendors out, and to do the goodies and goodie bags and things like that, just to make an all-around great experience. So first, we want to raise the awareness with our vendors. We got to get vendors interested. And the thing that was different with this latest go around is we actually started doing ads partnered with some of the other vendors. And so some of our favorites we did open house, and this is me just spitballing. It's not verbatim what we said, but Black Oak open house with such and such caterer, and we had images from their stuff, whether it was or vendor, sorry, such and such vendor, not caterer. And so whether we had images of the catering team, whether we had images from the photography shoots, or anything that they had as far as media goes, we would combine the two in the ad. And we started. So our first ads, we started at about a month out to start getting RSVPs. We started whispering that out there. We weren't really hitting it very hard, and just to get the promotion, we started posting and doing some boosts on our posts. So we didn't spend a whole lot of dollars right at the front. And then as we got closer, 2 weeks, we start getting RSVPs. We start doing reach outs. We start then doing those partner ads. So it's kind of like a whisper, yell, shout. And then as we get closer, we're just doing daily posts about it, getting everybody hyped. And then we're able to tap into the audiences of our other vendors, and so it just broadens the reach. So that's how we handled it as far as the advertising side. And on the vendor side, the important thing to remember is you got to have a good relationship with them. I was talking with one venue owner, prospective client, who had done an open house, but their vendors actually charged the venue a fee to go to the open house, and that just blew my mind. It was just I paused because it should have been the other way around, quite frankly, because the venue should be drawing the crowd, and the vendors should want to be there, knowing that the venue is the first stop typically. But it was just really strange to me. So if you don't have a good relationship with your existing vendors, then you might run into a situation like that where they want to actually be paid because they see it as a waste of their time to go without getting paid. So that's something to consider as you are trying to set this up. But if you have a good relationship with your vendors, then they should be actually, especially like in our instance where we had such a great turnout and such great business generation. I'm confident that in the future we'd be able to charge for them to have a table at our venue for those open houses. And that's not to say that we want to do that, but that's the position that we're in, and that really was where you would want to get to, is that you could ask your vendors to pay to be there, and they would because of the value that you're providing. So that's the goal, um, is to just provide so much value for you, for your clients, well, first for the clients, for the bride and groom or the couples, and their families to provide tremendous value for them, and then for you, and well, let's say the vendors, and then for you. You fit in there somewhere, but you benefit no matter what, as long as you're providing that value. So then the last thing that we did, we had goodie bags for our vendors. So just some Black Oak swag and some goodies like some treats and things like that. And then we typically will do like drawings or prizes or discounts. We have a pool or a raffle from the different vendors. We've done that, and that's been great where everybody throws in whatever offer they want to make to give out at the open house. And then we do a goodie bag, a welcome bag at the open house for the couples that come in. And so as they come in, we have more Black Oak swag. We have our information. We get their stuff, put their name in the drawing. So they come in and check in with us first. We knock them off. We cross them off the list if they show. Then that gives us a chance to do a tour with them, and we make it so that they have to go to every single table in order to be entered into the raffle. So we give them their card to get the stamp or the signature from the different vendors. But that's our way to ensure that they're actually going and interacting with the vendors and not just looking around real quick and trying to get in the raffle. And then the last thing that we do, or the big change that we want to make on the next one that we do this fall, is to actually, when we start scheduling and RSVPing, we want them to actually pick a time for them to come in and tour. So give them the option, if they haven't booked with us yet, then they pick a time to do the tour, and if they have booked with us, then they can just skip that step and just RSVP for the event itself so we can get a good head count. So that way we have pre-designated times. They know they're getting a tour, and it's not like we're interrupting the flow of anything else when they come in and say, "Oh, by the way, you got to get a tour." So that would be the biggest change that we're going to make on the next one, is just doing pre-designated time slots for the tours. And so this one coming up in the fall, I'm excited for. We're already starting to think about it, starting to plan, and we want to start building up the buzz about 6 to 4 weeks before the actual event. So to recap, value. Build the value. The value for your couples is that they get to come meet all of your favorite vendors, the preferred vendor list, right? They get to meet all of your favorite vendors in one spot. So it's kind of like you doing the planning for them, but kind of. They're all in one spot. They get the benefit of being able to talk to everybody right there. They get contact information if they want it, and then they also get discounts on the stuff because a lot of people will do specials for the day of, and then they get to just take care of everything or as much as they can in one setting. So that's really valuable to your couples. For the vendors, they get to have a captive audience. So they get to have couples come through that have booked with you or are thinking about booking with you, and they get to build out their calendar for the year as well, which is incredible. And then lastly for you is you get to make positive relationships with your vendors, and you get some bookings from that as well. So in terms of bookings, like conversion rates and everything like that, tour the open houses generally convert a little bit lower than your regular one-on-one tours, and that's just the nature of the event. They're coming out not just to tour your place, but to learn about all of the other vendors, and so they might be a bit distracted and things like that. So it's okay if your conversions are a bit lower. Just look at the cost of the acquisition, and that's going to give you a good pulse on how well your open house performed. So if your cost of client acquisition is like 500, 700, 800,000 dollars per client, then you went overboard. You spent too much to get them in there, or you didn't get enough of them. And so that would be my recommendation. Watch the cost of client acquisition. That's everything you spent on. So it can be marketing spent, it can be the the swag bags that you do, goodies, the if you're doing like a charcuterie board or you're whatever you're throwing in um, on a discount or things like that, then those are costs that you're going to incur. Now we don't throw in a lot of discounts on the actual tour, but what we do is we lower the deposit minimum for them, and then that's how we are able to sweeten the deal a bit. So it's not to say that that's the only way you can do it, but that's just the way that we've done it. And so we always try to just find the thing that's going to work the best. So I don't have all the answers, and we just work off of my best or our best worst guess. So I hope this was useful for you. If you're planning an open house here in the future, let me know, and I'd like to hear your ideas on what you guys have done, or if you've done one that's been really successful. Drop a comment, and I'd love to hear what ideas you guys have. So if you found this useful, please subscribe, share it, like it, drop a comment, and I will catch you in the next one.